Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how we can add multiple conditions to our code with and these bars. And so we're going to start out with this brain starter. Jose had $3, but his chores are not done. Which box, the red box or the blue box, would allow Jose to eat ice cream? And I'd love for you to explain. So I'm going to close my video so you can see everything. I also suggest pausing this video so that you can think about things as you are going. But yeah, so hopefully you are able to identify that it would only work for this blue box. All of his chores are done, or he has $3. And he does have $3, but his chores are not done. But that's okay because it was or. He has to at least have one of those. In this first box, all of his chores need to be done, and he has to have $3. And that's unfortunately just not the case. So he wouldn't be able to eat ice cream. So today we are going to be talking about more conditionals, and I just want to remind you that conditionals can use if, else to check if many different conditions are true. You must always first start with an if statement. You can have as many else if statements as you'd like. Else statements don't have a Boolean expression, meaning they don't have parentheses next to them. The conditions are checked in order, meaning the computer starts at the top. Once the computer finds something that's true, it stops reading. So if the if is true, then it doesn't read any of the other else ifs. And because of that, our order really does matter. Okay, so this is our structure. We've seen it quite a bit. We have if, we have parentheses, we have curly brackets. We can have else if, parentheses, curly brackets. And for else, there's no parentheses. It just goes straight to curly brackets. And an else if is optional. You can add an else if or many else ifs to see if another thing is true, but you don't need to. Okay, so take a second and read through this slide. Okay, so this is saying if time is greater than 8:40 and time is less than 3, console.log you were in school. So we can actually add more than one Boolean together in a conditional by using and or. So this is saying like this is true and that is true together. They both need to be true in order to say you are in school. For instance, if time was just greater than 8:40, it could be like 7 p.m. That wouldn't work here. It has to be both true. So we have two logical operators that we use, and or. And if you're looking for this symbol, it's on the 7 key. So you can do Shift 7, and that gets you and. And to get this key right here, these bars, it's right under the delete sign or delete key. So you can press Shift and that key to get that as well. So we're going to try using logical operators in our code. And so we are going to open this up. This is a great time for me to remind you that you should be coding along with me. You should rewind this video. You should pause this video whenever you need it. Like now, because I'm about to open it. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate and I'm going to write it as. So right now you can see that there's 4 sections made here, and there, if you scroll down, there's some code along challenge, and then there's your challenge. So our code along challenge is to get the background to change to pink when we're in the top right quadrant. In order to get the background to change, I'm going to need to have a variable for the background. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make one, and you should be able to do this at this point, make a variable, initialize it, and use it. So I'm going to start with var, I'm going to call it backcall. This is a variable to changing background color. I'm going to initialize it in my setup. I'm also going to set my color mode to HSB, but I'm going to say that backcall equals color. And I don't want it to start as pink because it's going to turn pink. I think I want it to start as just like maybe a gray. 0, 0, 70. And in order to use this, I need to fill my background with this. So I'm going to find where it says background, and I'm just going to put backcall there. we can now see that it's gray. Cool. So step 1, make a variable. Step 2, give it a color. Step 3 gives it. Okay, so now get the background to change when we are in the top right quadrant. Let's pause for a second and think about how we can get these top quadrants. So I'm going to create a new tab here. Okay, so I'm just going to separate this using a line. I know this is not ideal, me going on the PowerPoint, but we're going to go with it. So we can see that like that's kind of a separating line. And so is this. Whoa. Okay. Great, almost. Now, if we want to talk about being in the top left, top right. If we notice our X is greater than 200 over here, and if we notice our Y is less than 200, make that bigger. Okay, I'm also going to add a background so that you can see it a little bit better. So when we're in the top right, the X is greater than 200. We see that here. And we see that the Y's are less than 200. If we were in the top left, we can see that the X are less than 200. And we can also see that the Y's are less than 200. If we're talking about the bottom right, we can look up at the X's. They are greater than 200, and the Y's are also greater than 200. In the bottom left, our X's are less than 200, and our Y's are greater. Oops. Okay. Why is that? There we go. Okay, so we can see that this is kind of setting up for all of these different areas. And we're just going to focus right now on the top right. Let's make this one orange. Okay. We're going to focus on the top right. So I'm going to add a comment. The top right has the X. They look again. X is greater than 200 and the Y is less than 200. So we're going to start off with our conditional like we always do. If parentheses, curly brackets. And then inside we need to write this, but instead of X, I'm going to put mouse X because that's what's controlling our mouse, is greater than 200. And then instead of writing the word and like this, I'm going to do two and symbols, shift second. And I'm going to write mouse Y is less than 200. Let's console.log quotes. Let's just say in the top right. Okay, so right now nothing should change except if I move my mouse in the top right in the console, it should say in the top right, which it was. When I move out, it should stop. So I have two conditions here separated by an and sign. Now, if I want the background to change, then I would now need to get my variable back call. And I would need to set it equal to a new color that was pink. So like 300, 50, 100. And when I go there, it turns pink. Now it's not turning back, and the reason is because I don't have an else if or an else, and that's something that you're actually going to be continuing now. So your next challenges are to continue and add else if statements to change the color when the mouse is on each quadrant. So for instance, else if, please note that I'm outside of the if statement. You would then do it for maybe the top left, and so on. Bottom left, bottom right. Okay, I'm going to leave this here. Let me know what questions you have.